So just a little bit about us. To cut it a little short, we 5 years ago started a company with the mission of helping the world build healthier habits. And we're focused mainly on like the things that all of us do on a daily basis, right? Like we wake up, we go to sleep, we eat food, we are positive or negative, these things that we deal with every day. So our first product was actually a habit building journal for building a morning routine into your everyday life. And what it does is it actually guides you through the process of learning to wake up earlier and starting your day with a morning routine that we help you design. And it guides you for a few months in that way until ultimately you've built this habit, right? So we released that product. It did really well. So we started making a bunch more journals. We made a journal for meditating, journal that guides you through eating healthier, a bunch of fitness products, a journal for budgeting, yoga, stretching. We sort of really expanded into building these guided journals that help you build specific habits. Our initial goal when we started the business actually was to build an app. And last year we were able to do that. Early this year, we launched the Habit Nest app that kind of incorporates all of our products in one place in an app. It's in app stores right now. You can check it out. Just search the Habit Nest app. And so, yeah, that's kind of that's what our Web 2 business has been up until this point. We have a lot of other, cool accolades and stories along the way. But fast forward to earlier this year, Mikey, who's here, started getting really into crypto and NFTs. And he brought this to Amir, me and Amir. Amir is our other third partner who's on vacation right now. He brought us this idea of, creatively finding ways to enter the Web3 community and enhance our existing business while also kind of getting our foot into the door into this new area that we all saw is going to play an important role in business in the future. And so we're coming into Web3 with an immediate, utility. Our holders are going to get lifetime access to our mobile app, where we're also creating a learn to earn reward system, so that we can hold people accountable to building healthier habits within our app more effectively, right? Like now we can reward you for bettering yourself with the power of NFTs. And then there's a whole B2B business side of it too, but I'll stop there and let Mikey come in.
Yeah, you always do such a good job introing us. I'm just like, we make habit building better, but you give such good context, so I'm glad you took the lead. Yeah, guys, I'm curious, like, what questions you have and where we can focus our like talking points on.
Yeah, so first and foremost, for everyone listening, we do have the new feature here in the right bottom corner that allows you to comment on the thread for the space. So you'll be able to submit questions and make commentary as we go on. So be prepared for that. But I'd love to ask a few questions. So we're starting off with a PFP project that incorporates this. So tell us a little bit more about the actual NFT element of this.
Yeah, I mean, just starting off on the art components, you can take a look by looking at my profile picture or the Phoenix's profile picture and our Twitter banners. But just starting at the art is so important. And we've scrapped our art and done maybe like 5 or 6 core iterations of like what our Phoenixes would look like. And it's something I'm really proud of, because drawing birds as PFPs is not easy, especially to make them look good. So we're like super proud of our art, but we have a lot of utility behind the project. But I just really like emphasizing how much of a world we're actually building, because our nonfiction writer who like helps us create all of our journals, Aston, actually has a fiction writing background. And when I brought this up to her, this whole project, she's like, oh my God, let me do a lore background for this whole project. And we have like a 65-page lore document that she wrote out. And it's like so extensive and so cool that it lets us have this base of really cool storytelling and art that we want to incorporate into the whole journey of what we're building out. So just starting there, that's something that was really important and I think needs to be for NFT projects, because it's the face of the whole project and it's your token of ownership and what you identify with. So we spend a lot of time on that end. But going into the actual NFT itself, I mean, there's kind of a short-term answer and a long-term answer. And the short-term answer was, we're like, okay, we've spent our past couple of years building out lots of great products and lots of great functionality. Let's bridge our NFT to help get users access and get them into that whole ecosystem. So on a really easy starting note, we built out a Web3 integration to token gate our mobile app. And that lets us do special things for holders on a really easy starting note. People who own our Phoenix NFT get lifetime access to our mobile app, which would be normally cost around $300 US, but with the NFT mint price, it's like basically going to be around half of that. And that's just one of the like starting points that we're allowing. We're building it out to have a whole learn to earn ecosystem past that, where, to summarize very simply, we will be rewarding people who take care of themselves, and we'll be funding that through our own Web2 sales of journal sales and app subscriptions, so that there is no Web3 Ponzi and it's actually sustainable and like aligns with the growth of our Web2 business and our Web3 holders. So those are a couple starting points, and that's more on the short term. But in the long term, the way we view this is really taking a bet on operators and taking a bet on us strategically maneuvering over the next 5 years to build something incredible. And that's something that I think is very difficult to do. But I feel so confident because we've already done this. We've done this for the last 5-6 years. We never raised funding. We're just 3 guys really passionate about a vision and mission. And we were able to see really good success selling 500,000 journals and building one of the strongest health and wellness podcasts, and having guests like Mark Cuban on, and Matthew McConaughey, and Tony Robbins, and Chelsea Handler, and many different people. I think we've done a pretty decent job building our brand so far, but our NFT lets people be aligned with us on a growth standpoint and a brand standpoint, and lets us leverage all of our skills and vision and strategy to build something amazing 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now.
That's awesome. And I think that that's a trend that we're going to start seeing as a lot of Web2 companies move into the Web3 space, right? The whole, hey, if you hold our NFT, you get access to, this subscription service. You get access to Time Magazine, or as you guys mentioned, your also mobile app is token gated. How far away are we from the mint day to when that kind of access will be allowed? Is that something that's going to be from day one, or is that something that you guys are hoping to launch sooner than later?
Oh yeah, I mean, just to clarify, first off, our mobile app is fully built already and is on the App Store and Google Play Store. If you search Habit Nest, it's the Habit Nest app in there, and we're selling that as a subscription right now. But the token gating is already built, and it's like literally running on my phone, and it's fully functional. So it's just in beta now, but our goal is to do that within the first 2 weeks of mint, so people can begin using our app and building better habits on their journeys right away.
Right on. And so the token gated subscription service is like one benefit, but you've also hinted and mentioned that there are benefits to participating in the journaling as well, in terms of earn mechanic, correct?
Yeah, definitely. And let me take a little bit of a step back and also just be like really open with you guys, because I think if we're just pitching this project as like a, yo, buy our NFT and get access to an app, I actually don't think it really provides too much value. I think it's a really nice kind of perk, but our bigger focus is on doing lots of native partnerships with other NFT projects and incorporating our habit building journeys into their worlds. And when I say that, I specifically mean within other projects as discords. And that's been a big focus of ours, is creating strategic partnerships with other NFT communities so that we become the health and wellness backbone for all their members. And that's something we've done maybe like 200 plus partnership calls on. I'm not kidding. I've probably sent like 2,000 DMs, honestly more, to different project team members and founders, and have talked with so many different people and had a lot of good success. We locked in 25 strategic partnerships with great projects like Zen Academy, Robotos, Women in Weapons. I'm forgetting a bunch, 20 plus more. And what that means is it's not just like a, hey, here's some Alalis spots, but rather we are getting our own Phoenix's channel in these projects' discords, and we will be running daily wellness challenges for all their holders to build better habits as a community. And that's really, really exciting. One, because it's a revenue stream for us to build the project out even further past our Web 2 revenue. But second, it's a way to constantly be involved in Web 3 and capture attention every single day at the place that it matters most. And being in all these communities, and we have a lot more that we're in talks with right now. And we actually have to say no because we're getting so backed up. It's been really cool. Like, it's really cool when you build something that actually has demand and seems to have product market fit. And that's been a really interesting angle, because I'm viewing it as like a constant attention loop back to our project, back to what we're building. And I know I tangented with a ton of context there, but that actually ties right back into the question you asked, which is, hey, what about that earning mechanic that you guys are building out? And in short, within all of those projects and just through our mobile app ourselves, we're building an ecosystem where if you hold a Phoenix NFT and you are engaging in these habit building challenges that's based on all of our products and background, then you're able to earn from a rewards pool. And we haven't released the exact detailed info of what those rewards are going to be and how the exact day-to-day interactions will look like. But just in that general picture, if you hold our Phoenix NFT and are participating through our partners' Discords or through the app directly, we will be building out and offering that rewards mechanism and incentive.
Well, that's fantastic. And one of the partnerships I would love to also highlight is with Metaverse HQ, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You said I'm forgetting a bunch of them. I'm kidding. But no, that's awesome. So when I hear health and habits, I know that skews between different. Many people have a different understanding of what is, healthy and what a healthy habit is. Tell us a little bit more about what the these kind of goals will be and these kind of habits will be centered around. Is it like, for instance, weight loss? Is it mental health? What will we be looking at there when it comes to challenges?
Yeah, I can jump in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer the community options, 2 to 3 options every quarter of a habit journey they want to go on together. And kind of like I said before, we're focused on the things that we do daily or that we can do daily that sort of create a strong foundation for living our lives in the best way possible. So again, focusing on the way you wake up, the way you go to sleep, how intentionally are you using your phone and your other screen time? Fitness journeys, nutrition, like it's going to be up to each community to decide what they want to do, and then we're going to sort of make it unique for the community. But those are generally the type of habits we're talking about. It's honestly the habits that most people talk about, like wanting to change in some way, but don't really take action on. Like that's where we're going to focus.
Or we should list them out.
All of our habits right now.
Yeah.
Let me get on our website.
I mean, just to get that list rolling, we have better morning routines, better sleep, a gratitude routine, meditation, sleep, or not sleep hygiene, better screen time usage so you can manage your phone and devices better, nutrition, and we just added in daily stretching, yoga. So if any of those are interesting to you, like I think most of them, we're going to be adding in more as well.
Yeah, the other missing ones are, we have a whole host of different types of fitness journals, like home workouts, weightlifting, resistance training, and also we're like with the app, we're constantly adding new habits. That's on our Web 2 side. Like one of our main goals is adding a new habit every month or two, and this is like the amazing thing is that if, let's say, your community wants to go on a completely different journey, something we've never thought about for some reason, we have the power to build that very quickly, right? Like we have a team of researchers, team of writers, team of artists. Like we have a legit team that can take an idea and create a habit building journey out of it very, very quickly, which is awesome too.
That's amazing and incredible to hear. That you guys are, again, not only, and excuse me, as people who are familiar with my hosting, they're going to hear my dogs eventually once or twice during the space, so I apologize in advance. But yeah, no, that sounds incredible. So one thing that I know is I have ADHD, so I forget. So journaling for me has always been recommended, right? To remind myself to do things, to get into good habits, because with ADHD, medicine's one thing, but being in a routine is another, right? But one thing that always helps me is when it comes to health monitoring and things like that is I have my Apple Watch that tracks a lot of that stuff. Is there any kind of integration with your all's app and with the process there? To automatically kind of track that through the journaling, or is this a manual process for people out there who are going to be going through some of these challenges?
That's a great question. For now, everything is centralized through our app because it's more than just inputting data. That's a piece of it, but the other piece is every day there's different content that we provide through videos, through reading material, through stats and badges, that it builds this whole entire experience that we crafted. So that automated tracking is something that's really interesting, especially with tools out there like Apple Watch and Oura Ring and all of that. And it's definitely on my mind to bridge those worlds together to make it more seamless. But this goes past just the journaling side and adds in an entire educational side too. So we've centralized it all through the app for now.
As you guys touted, it seems like learn to earn. So the first thing that I think of is Coinbase, right? They do the whole, hey, here's a host of small cap coins that if you take a quiz on and learn a little bit more about, we'll give you a little bit of that. How does it compare to maybe that kind of interfacing? Obviously not giving out crypto to people, but how does that kind of compare to what the prompts that you guys have?
That's a That's a really good question. So the way it works in both our journals and our app is we give you first, you get all the sort of, imagine like a little, let me go through the journal first. So imagine like a little book. You get 30 or 40 pages of like the science behind the habit, what the journey is going to be like, everything you need to know. And then once you've gone through those 30 or 40 intro pages, then you start a process where every day you get one bite-sized piece of content, which is either like a pro tip, an affirmation, a recommended product, the daily challenge, something cool to, kickstart you for the day. And then on the other side of the page, you have all of your tracking. So let's say you're doing a morning routine, you're writing what time I'm going to go to sleep that night, what time I want to wake up the next day, what my morning routine is going to be, answering some thoughtful reflection questions. So that's the basic idea, is one page of content, one page of tracking. And that's sort of how our app works too. Every day you log in, you go to day one, you open day one, and there's a bunch of bullet points. You hit the first bullet point, you see the content for that day. You get to the next part, you plan your routine for the next day. The next part is you're checking back in to say how your routine actually went.
That accountability loop is a huge part of all of our products, because I'm a very no nonsense person, and Ari and Amir both are too. We're just like, all right, I want to show up, tell me what I need to do and I'll do it. And having the ability to plan what you want, but then every day reconciling, okay, what did I actually do, is a really needed reality check that lets you see your progress when what actually happened and adjust on a daily basis. And I think that's one component of why the feedback for our products has been so good. If you go on Amazon and search Habit Nest, most of our products have hundreds, some have thousands of reviews, and almost all of them are like 4.5 stars up. And like our gratitude one is like 4.7 out of 5 stars, 1,100 reviews. And I think it's because we're very practical and also caring of the user experience, in creating something that's approachable and like not daunting and inviting, and that helps walk you through that whole process.
That's awesome. And just to reiterate how important that ability to go in the next day and kind of, or rather that later that day, and say like, this is what I was able to do. My psychiatrist totally recommends me doing that. Like, that's like a thing that we do. So just a little leaking alpha. That is something that like actual medical professionals are like, yes, please do that. That is very good for your mental health. It's very good for your growth as a human. So I love that you mentioned that. But one side of the journaling that maybe would be helpful for me, I don't necessarily love to share those kinds of things with people just because it's kind of more private. How does this the accountability loop work with communities who are, in more collaborative efforts? So let's say me and Poop here, Poopaloop down there, we're both in Metaverse HQ. We're both, competing together, not competing, but, doing this as well. Is that stuff that's going to be shared with people, or how do we kind of maybe not necessarily share every detail of the journal, but also still help each other continue on with the process, I guess?
Ryan, I love how detail oriented you are, because my brain works in the same way. So I'm like clapping for you in my head right now. But in general, like that's something we thought about a lot too, because certain things will be sensitive, certain things won't. So we're ultimately leaving that up to users, where it's an optional prompt for what they want to share publicly. And even if they don't, we're still tracking the entries on the back end. But it's just a cool, like, we ran that test in our own Discord and are running it every day, where we're having different daily challenge prompts. And it's been so cool to see, man. Like, I kind of want Ari to jump in, because he is like so enamored whenever he talks about it. But it's been really amazing just having that share, even on a really light basis, you just get to see people in a different way. And it's the difference between meeting a friend and just having a really surface level convo, because there's no direction of what to talk about, which tends to happen in many Discords, because it's like, where the hell do you begin, right? Versus having one singular focus for the whole community to go through of everyone who's participating, and then different angles and different questions for people to come and share with whatever they're comfortable to whatever extent. But that outlet has really, really been amazing to see. And it's actually what I'm the most excited for in running these. I think it's going to deepen community member relations so much stronger than just plopping people with a connection of just the NFT, because this goes so much deeper into who people actually are and going through a journey together.
Yeah, just to add to that, of course you're going to have the option of whether to share or not. But what's amazing about it is that when you have a community that's big enough and there are like dozens or 50 or 100 people responding, some people are really going to open up, right? Like if it's a meaningful question, some people really do open up. And what we've been seeing happen in our Discord is that when some people open up, then others feel more comfortable to do the same thing and to be a little bit vulnerable. So it's like, yes, you will have the option of staying more private, but the community is going to respond really well when people are vulnerable, do share something intimate, which is going to open up others to do the same, which is really special.
That's fantastic and phenomenal. Again, I'm all about personal growth, and I'm all about, and I feel like this space is so chaotic from a financial standpoint, from a mental health. People stay awake just to make sure they don't miss mints and things like that. And it's nice to know, hey, I'm not the only one out here who's freaking pulling my hair out right now. There are a lot of people out there doing the same. One thing you mentioned is bringing together communities and working together to have communities hold each other accountable. So, for instance, Cool Cats or Bored Ape Yacht Club, tracking these things as a community, as an individual community. But what about your all's community? So let's say that I am not a member of some of these communities that you've partnered with, but I do want in on this app and this health and habit tracking. What kind of community are you guys trying to create that's not necessarily gated towards those communities?
Like, do you mean what the values of our community are, or what types of daily engagements do you see us running?
Yeah, so let's just say someone isn't a part of Metaverse HQ or some of the other communities that you mentioned, so they're not in the Discord chat that you mentioned that'll be on all these servers. What kind of community efforts do you guys have on your own Discord that will help people provide, get that sense of community that we're just talking about?
It's a really good question. It's something so it's easy for us to kind of come back and run a similar engagement for our own community as we're doing for others. But it's something we actually haven't fully decided on. Because what I'm debating is, do we run our own community as like a mini experimental section where we can try new things and see what works best? Or do we turn around and run those similar habit building engagements? So it's actually a discussion we're going to be figuring out in the next couple of weeks, unless you have other thoughts that I'm not aware of.
I think probably a little bit of both, right? Like, this whole B2B concept came about because we were doing this with our community and saw the power of it. Like, that's how this started. And so we will definitely keep using our community as a testing ground for, new cool experiences together, altering the journey a little bit to see if something resonates more with people. But it's going to be similar to the way we're running it in everyone else's community at the same time. Like, it's going to be towards self-improvement together. as a concept, but we're going to be testing a little bit in ours so that we can further improve what we're doing for everybody else too.
Right on. Well, the next question that I have, and again, if anyone out here has a question for the team, again, feel free to either raise your hand to ask a short question or to leave a comment here in the right-hand corner. So we have talked about, learn to earn. What exactly are we earning? So I know with a lot of projects, you can earn like their own token. That's not something you guys are experimenting with, your own personal token, right? Or is it? Curious to know what actually are we earning?
Yeah, the details of that we're going to be ironing out. But just as preliminary thoughts, we are going to not essentially we want to use more of a layer 2 NFT that you earn on a daily basis, and you can mix, match, and collect those to redeem for different prizes. And those prizes are going to be probably a mix of many things. It'll be NFTs, it'll be special one-of-one, special collab things, but it's also IRL things like having a spa trip vacation. And I'm just throwing these examples out because what we're ultimately going to do is we want to make those as appealing as possible. And it depends on a couple factors, but that could come from like large deal negotiations we can pull with large providers of things. It really could be anything. And we are kind of keeping our heads open of how to make that actually exciting for people. So I personally want that to be a mix of like talking to the community and be like, yo, like what actually excites you guys? Where can we put funds to make this worth it? While also leveraging our connections and people who we've had discussions with behind the scenes, had on our podcast. Like it's really a whole world of options that are there.
Just as a suggestion, meeting Matthew McConaughey would be pretty dope. I know you guys touted that as someone you guys have interacted with. But,
no, like there's tons of cool stuff we can do. Like, hey, fly in for a podcast and thing. Like different people just value different things, right? So giving people the option of where to put that, like aim those rewards that they're earning is something that is on our minds too. And making that whole process exciting and making you make meaningful choices are all kind of elements we're working in.
No, I love that, again, because we're all different people, and we all like the things that we want rewards for are all different. So I love that aspect. We just brought up Antonio here onto the floor. Antonio, did you have a question for us?
Yeah, I do. Thank you for having me, Ryan. Appreciate you bringing me up here. First of all, guys, I wanted to congratulate you on what looks like a really fabulous project. I'm a Tasty Bones holder, and
nice.
I'm really excited that you guys are partnering with them. I'm even a Hungry Ghost holder, so I minted it and I've diamond holded it. Yeah, forever, man. It's probably my most treasured NFT. I'm rocking this Genuine Undead right now because I just bought one the other day, and I think they're really cool pixel art. But my Hungry Ghost is by far my favorite. But yeah, I love that collaboration. I even joined the pre-mint giveaway for the journal, so I'm crossing my fingers for that. My two-part question is one. I downloaded the app and it looks really awesome. I'm starting Hell Week now. I find like, are you guys inspired by the X effect? Because I've followed that community on Reddit for a long time, and it feels like I've never gone through the process of creating like the calendar and crossing it up, but I've read so many success stories from it that it seems like you guys are doing something really similar to the X effect. And if it's not, I think that would be a great avenue for you guys to promote what you're doing, because it seems like very much in the same vein of the X effect. And second, I'm helping a startup get launched on a mobile app, and we just got started, but we're struggling like creating that initial community to bring people over to the app to start using it, create those habits. And I wondered if you guys can share some some insights or some tips on how you guys were able to do it with Habit Nest.
Yeah, I'm personally not familiar with X Effect, but have been following a couple different subreddits years back, like Get Disciplined, and I think No 0 Days. So if you want to give some context there, happy to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just r/the X Effect. I think I found it through r/Get Disciplined, but it's basically you set up to have like create a new habit, and you have a calendar or just post-it notes, and you mark each day down that you're following through with that habit. I think it started with a long post on what was, I think, Jerry Seinfeld's writing method for comedy, that he would force himself every day to write, and he would mark it down. So that led people to create the X Effect. And I think they've created some kind of rudimentary apps around it, but what you guys have done seems way much more sophisticated and well done.
Yeah.
You guys are better than
Thank you.
Seinfeld. Love that. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I mean, just to give you guys a picture of our backgrounds, we spent, like, Ari is probably one of the most consistent people you'll ever meet in your life. It's just him now to wake up super early, and it was something that his family had done.
Is that me, or did Mikey here get rugged?
I think it's Mike. I can hear you, Ryan, but I lost Mike.
Yeah, I think he's gone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm also not familiar with the X Effect, but just to so the reason we created our products how we did is because we saw, like, there are a million habit tracking apps out there, right? And in the age of the internet, there's all the information in the world at your fingertips at all times. So our idea was simple, like, take all the best information, put it in a concise way, curate it, and then give it to people day by day in a way that makes perfect sense, while also covering, the progress tracking aspect of it. So I think that's what makes us special, is the fact that it's a completely guided journey that takes care of the information aspect and the tracking aspect of it. And just to get to your other question, Antonio, were you asking about, like, how we market our app?
Well, I mean, I think market is a part of it, but I'm curious, like, how you guys just built that initial critical mass of users, because I feel like market is a part of it, but maybe, like, how you designed the app, was there some, like, user feedback that changed, like, your direction, or like something you guys realized in terms of positioning, or
I think I get it. It was a little bit easier for us when we got to the app, because by the time we started building the app, we had sold hundreds of thousands of journals. We regularly spend like $2 million in ads a year. So like the product was kind of proven to us because of our journals, and we had a user base because we have emails from hundreds of thousands of customers, emails, phone numbers of people who have bought either one or multiple of our products, who were very interested in the app and who are now using the app. Like, that's where the majority of our initial users came from. And we're pretty good about running ads. An app is no easy thing to market, especially if you don't have the money to, go red for a little while. And honestly, our app is still a baby. Like, just going back to what Ryan was saying earlier about, like, Apple Watch integration, all of that. Like, there are so many cool things we can do that we just haven't had the opportunity to do yet. Like, we just launched it, and then as soon as we launched it, we got into Web3, and we're focusing on this project. Like, we're really planting seeds in a lot of places, and now we just need to put fuel on the fire. So we're still building it, but we were helped by the fact that we had sold hundreds of thousands of journals and we had this big existing customer base of loyal Habit Nest users.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you for the feedback. I'm wondering if there's any tip in terms of marketing an app specifically that you could share, since you mentioned that that's a difficult task. And I'll leave it at that.
I mean, the way we're doing most of it is through Apple search ads. I'm actually using a really cool tool for Apple search ads. That if you message me separately, we can get into it a little bit, and I can see how I can help you. You know, I'm more than happy to talk to you and help you separately.
Awesome. Really appreciate that.
Thanks for coming out, man.
Appreciate the question. Yeah, so I mean, as I don't see any other hands up, so or anyone that's asked any more questions here. So I just maybe elaborate on maybe some roadmap stuff coming down. So we've talked about the premise. Is there any like pie in the sky goals that you guys see as kind of like a hope here with the app and with the NFT itself?
We do have some long picture ideas, and I call them ideas specifically because it's really important for us to listen to the market and iterate. Right now, there is no clear market for Web3. Everything's changing and everything's being established still. So we do have some really cool vision and thoughts of like being the backbone of wellness in Web3, and that's a really strong direction that it can grow to, and we're putting growing steps towards. And also, I think we've pioneered a path of an established Web2 business entering the Web3 space and doing it natively through other projects, and piggybacking or enhancing those communities while also creating an incentive for it to come back to us. So creating that B2B roadmap for other communities, something that's on our minds. There's many directions, but it's something I don't want to fully commit us to because I know things can change. And we want to build things up, and I actively engaging and paying attention.
Perfect. No, I love that. Obviously, you know, moonshot goals are always out there. So I appreciate the honesty and the feedback there. So just to kind of wrap things up, I just kind of wanted to give you guys the floor to maybe drive it home to anyone that's been listening. Maybe something that we didn't necessarily, an element of the project we haven't really talked about or anything like that, or maybe just a quick summary from both of you on what we should be taking away from our conversation here today.
Yeah, let me go, and Mikey, you fill in what I'm missing. So, in the end of the day, we are a successful Web2 business who sees NFTs specifically as an important part of every business in the future, and we want to be early to the game. The way we're doing that is by connecting our existing products in a creative and meaningful way, and using those products to provide value to our NFT immediately, on top of partnering with other communities to make their NFT more valuable by giving their community something special that their founders can give them. So we're really excited. We're minting August 30th. Our Discord is now open. We kept it private for a while, but it's now open. You can join, start to build habits with us and see what it's like a little bit. And hopefully, meet a lot of you soon.
Yeah, I think you covered it. And I see a couple people from our community in here. I think, Ryan, it would be great for them to understand better what you all are up to. So I'd love for you to give some context too on what you guys are building out in your vision, so they can hear.
Yeah, so MVHQ, we are like the OG quote unquote alpha group that kind of derived here from the NFT world. So, well, thank you for giving me that platform to speak on it. But we are a very close knit community of about 1,500 token holders. Our Discord's completely token gated, where we are constantly giving each other certain alpha information, help. FAQs, all sorts of different kinds of ways to help each other here in the Web3 NFT world. Because as you know, things are moving ever so quickly, and we got each other's backs. So one of our big things is we have an open VC chat that is literally has people in it. I think it's had people in it consistently for like almost a year at this point. It's been pretty crazy how I mean, it might not be more than one or two people here lately sometimes, but at nights, you know, they could be anywhere from 50 to 100 people in VC, just letting each other know when mints are happening, you know, degen mints, things like that. So a really great close-knit community. So if you're interested, you know, the token out right now gets you access to the server towards here through the end of the year, and you know, it'll have you an allow list for next year's too. So thank you for dropping us there, Mike. Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, we really do appreciate. One of my favorite parts of hosting these is I'm also on the partnership team, so I get to bring in a lot of partners as well. Obviously, I didn't necessarily work with you guys on the onboarding process, but I love the quality of partners that we go through or that we get and that we bring in, and clearly I'm really excited to work with you guys and to see, you know, again, as someone who loves self-improvement and is going through a phase right now where he would like to have his shit together. I'm excited to see how your all's product and your all's community helps with that. So I want to thank you guys for being a part of this conversation. I want to thank you guys for being a part of, you know, our MVHQ family here. And I hope the mint goes very successfully. How much does that mint cost again? Do you guys have a price set yet?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 0.088 ETH.
0.088. Great. Well, again, really, really thank you guys for joining us today and for talking it out a little bit. I'm really excited to see how the future holds for you guys.
Thanks for having us, man. It was awesome meeting you, and we're really looking forward to working with you.
Fantastic. Well, everyone have a great night, and yeah, get happy, get healthy.